Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry about the delay there. Had a small power outage here. So the generator kicked on, but it always shuts our internet down for a minute or two. So everything was down. Um, Jumping back in real quick, just wanted to go over a few things. Got some updates on Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant, as well as the Earl Thomas situation. Just a video he posted earlier today that was posted on his Instagram. So Earl Thomas posted that little rum and coke, guys, if you don't mind. Earl Thomas posted that video, the one that I showed earlier on the video. Again, guys, I apologize. I had a electrical problem here. Um, the power was out for a few minutes. It switched over to generator. So when it does that, when my generator kicks in, I always lose the internet. For some reason, I lose the internet for a little bit. Don't be laughing. Oh, my wife is laughing now. So um, let me reset the page and so I can see the chat box. I wanted to do open forum like we did earlier today, get you guys questions, had some updates. Actually, a pretty interesting situation with Dez Bryant on his chatterbox. Uh, Juno needs a drink. I, hey, what's up, Scoggins? How you doing, brother? Dallas Cowboys. Is that Dallas Cowboys? What's DFFL or DCFL? Is that Dallas Cowboys, Florida? But anyways, yeah, we had an issue with that. Dez Bryant, as you guys know, he's always interested in the social media thing, and so apparently Dez Bryant is saying that contacts, and I'll go over and read this real quick. Information from Dez Bryant is what he's stating is he's got a contract proposal on his Instagram, or he put on Instagram. I got a contract offer from the Browns on my phone right now. So the Browns and him are still in discussion. Apparently, the Browns even stated, I'll read the statement from the Browns. I reported, excuse me, from the Browns. The Browns still have interest in Dez Bryant and talks are ongoing. The Browns believe that he has not fallen off as a player and want to add as many weapons as possible. The return of Josh Gordon has no impact on the interest of the Cleveland Browns on Dez Bryant. So the Browns are still interested in Dez. I think that's cool. I want to see the guy back on the field. I feel bad about the whole situation that went down in Dallas. I don't think he fits in with our offense currently. I will agree with that, but I do think the guy deserves to be on a team. I think he deserves to be on a team that needs some help. I think he deserves to be on a team that's going to throw the ball and give him a few more opportunities than the Dallas Cowboys are. So that's the update on Dez Bryant. As you guys know, I gave you an update on our current line situation. We currently have basically our 7 linemen that we have the 5 starters we're going to carry, and it looks like 2 backups. So we have a backup guard and a backup swing tackle. So we are thin at offensive linemen now, as you guys know. So that is something we need to increase our depth on. As far as the Earl Thomas situation, you guys know I just showed you a video on the I posted a video that was on the last live stream we just did a few minutes ago. Also, if you guys aren't aware, there was a fight in practice today between Tyrone Crawford and, let me slide down here real quick, pretty serious, between Tyrone Crawford and I'm sorry, Kadeem Edwards, our 7th offensive lineman, Kadeem Edwards, who plays guard. Kadeem Edwards and Crawford were battling it out a little bit, as you might have seen on the video. Crawford and him kind of got into a shoving match, and out of nowhere, here comes DeMarcus Lawrence and throws a punch at Kadeem Edwards. So I'm going to try to show you that video real quick. If I can move everything around, it'll only take a second. You guys should be able to see this if I move it. But pretty wild video. Basically a one-on-one fight, and then as DeMarcus Lawrence gets involved, it gets pretty heated. DeMarcus Lawrence comes in and throws a haymaker, and I will actually, let's see if I can get this rolling, and then once I get it loaded, I want to load it and then pause it, and then that way it doesn't freeze or anything while I'm posting it for the first time. So here we go. All right, let me slide this over. I believe you guys should be able to see that. I'm gonna enlarge it. I know this is like the ghetto way to do things, but we're in Houston, so okay. Here we go, guys. And I'm gonna, so it turns into a pretty serious brawl. And here comes Tyrone. Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence comes in, swings with a haymaker, and the brawl starts in practice. But hey, Tyrone Crawford pretty much was throwing Kadeem Edwards around, and I guess he didn't like it. There was some words exchanged. After the words were exchanged, then Tyrone Crawford tried to, I guess, instigate it, and DeMarcus Lawrence came in and said, "I guess I'll finish it for you." But he did take Tyrone Crawford's back. You're not going to let any seventh level lineman come in and do that to you and get away with it. So yeah, he was in the right. Started a fight, started an argument, and things got pretty intense from there. It did end up causing some practice time for both of those guys. Of course, after that, they set back and didn't get much reps after that. He tried to cool them off. One more thing is I was speaking about the Tyrone Crawford, or excuse me, the Earl Thomas situation and the need to better our defense, because we really can't better our offense. Like I mentioned before, there's nothing we can do with the Travis Frederick situation. There's not a lineman out there. We've got what we got now, but we can go out and get a safety to solidify and increase our abilities on defense. And as that video I showed earlier, you guys know what Earl Thomas can do. There's plenty of video out there if you want to research it. He's somebody that's going to really increase our defense, and Seattle's not interested in working the problem out with him. So that's a closed subject. Here we go. Let me check on Cowboys. Did you see my content about Mark? No, I didn't. X Factor. What's up with? I know his YouTube was closed as of early this morning. I've been in chat with him a little bit, but I'm sure he's busy today. He's trying to get everything back going, and he's having to revert to different social medias to get out his information. So I'm not current on. Oh, let me see. Here we go. You posted it. Let me see. Hey, when did you see Holmes content being on? Oh, okay. That's cool. Great news. I'll check in. I'll slide over there and check out his web page. I straight use YouTube because I don't like to use different sources of social media, because once you learn one, to me it's easier than switching around. So I hope he gets everything going. I'm sure he will. Offense needs more than ever is Earl Thomas. Lilo Collins saying Lilo Collins has returned to practice, not in a playing situation, but he is limping around practice. He's been seen there, so that's good. Lilo Collins is at least back on the field, not doing any kind of work or any kind of, but he is around the team. He is there working with the team. Michael Gallup also made another circus catch in practice today. A very, very nice catch by Michael Gallup. It looks like that guy is coming on. He's going to help us out on the offense as well. Now we just need one of the tight ends to step up, or we need the coaching staff to allow one of the tight ends to step up that has the ability to step up. Because, as you all know, it looks like they're not giving one of the guys that everybody is wanting to step up, and he's played well. Rico Gathers has played well, made some crazy catches, done some crazy things on the field, and for some reason they don't trust him. Let's see, one more thing. Jason Garrett said Deontay Thomas and Tavon Austin are, Tavon Austin had the hamstring issue. Looks like he's back in practice a little bit more, getting involved, doing some light stuff. Same thing with Leighton Vander Esch, LVE. As you guys know, that's why we didn't see him in the last game. He had the groin injury. So as we continue to work through these soft tissue muscle problems, we had it last year. We had it this year already. Last year it was our defensive backs, and now it kind of seems to be a little bit spread around with different players. But we've got to get that problem resolved. To me, that just goes back on our training staff and our strengthening and conditioning coaches. They need to get a hold of that before preseason starts. They need to get words out. They need to get information out to these guys well before season starts to start getting prepared. Start doing more high intensity, quick type reflex activities, because as soon as they start training camp and they start doing the high intensity quick reflex activities, that's when we end up having all these injuries, which is ridiculous to me because we go through it seems like every year, and there are other teams that have it as well, but it could easily be cut down on if it was all done right. Deontay Thompson, Tavon Austin, Cole Beasley, all expected to do something in practice today. So those guys should have been in practice today, working good, working hard. Dak Prescott starts it out today, started off practice. He hit Terrence Williams on a deep pass at the beginning of practice today. So they look like Terrence Williams, and he beat Byron Jones on that play. So it wasn't like he had one of the backup or second string, third string guys covering him. So practice went well today, from what it seems like. Let me slide down here. Jason, press conference update the plans at center. Stuff about Jason Garrett. I'm skimming through this stuff and trying to get the most important stuff to you guys. Let's see. Tyrone Crawford might be a defensive tackle again. As you guys know, because of the situation with Randy Gregory coming through, and looks like he's playing very well, it looks like we might be sliding Tyrone Crawford back to 3 technique more than we thought. And this is due to a situation of having more defensive ends than we have defensive tackles, and actually just being better equipped at defensive end than we are at defensive tackle. So we'll see how that goes. Tyrone Crawford, I think he actually plays better I think that's his best position, is a 3 tech, and I think that's where he should play the majority of the time. I mean, we got Taco, we got DeMarcus Lawrence, we got Randy Gregory. Coney Ely plays fairly decent out there. Apparently he hasn't played too well at the 3 tech. That's why his name is dropped off on the list. So maybe you move him out to defensive end and put Tyrone Crawford at the 3 tech, and move Coney Ely out to defensive tackle. Let's see other updates. Let's see, Tyrone Crawford back to defensive tackle. Gregory could start at defensive end. That's that's some of the things a lot of us are looking at. So currently being on. Michael Gallup going to be a beast. I hope so there, Scoggins. We'll see. Hey, did I get an answer? If I didn't see it. DCFL. I'm assuming that's Dallas Cowboys, Florida. Is that what that is? Does anyone know why Mark has been taken down? Oh, Fishful. What's up, brother? I like the name, man. That's tight. That was something we used to say back in high school. We used to call a couple of guys. There was a guy we called Fish-Eyed Fool. That came off the old Sanford and Son show. If you don't know, he was taken down. Apparently, he's not sure either. If you go to his page, it states up there a general statement on the guesstimation. We're kind of guessing that it was due to possible what do you call it? He has a video that he put out. If you go over to his Instagram page, he explains it better. I don't want to speak for him, but it has something to do with maybe some of his old videos or something. He put something on there that YouTube didn't like copyright type something, but I haven't seen him do that in months. I don't understand why they would do that. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just a mistake. I think really if you watch his videos for the last months, few months, there's nothing on there. He doesn't post any NFL footage. He doesn't post anything from ESPN. He doesn't post anything. He talks. He talks about the Cowboys. He gives updated news. He doesn't even show pictures from his phone or things like I do and some of the other guys do. So not sure why that happened. Really, there's no answer. He's not sure either. It is under investigation. He sent in an investigation report, so he requested that. So apparently they're working on it, and they're going to get that fixed. Actually, move the camera over a little bit. Sorry, guys. Let me move this back. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it basically says, Karen. Karen, you keep yourself updated, and you recall things. That's spam and unwanted content. He posted the email from YouTube is what the email stated. So, and I recall that earlier, but I did a couple videos today, and I did talk to Mark about it this morning. So we'll see. Did someone flag him, or did YT get him and with copyright? Yeah, something to do with, like Karen is saying, unwanted content posted via email. Yeah, I have not much else to do as well. So does anyone have any comments on the Dez Bryant situation, possibly still going to the Browns? I'm hoping he goes to a team with somewhat of a veteran quarterback. I think that's what he needs. I think he needs to go somewhere where he can voice his opinion and not disturb the quarterback. And I'm not saying anything negative about Dez, and I'm not saying anything negative about Dak. What I'm saying is it's a fit. It's kind of like a marriage. You can't have like a young wife and an old husband. And hey, well, now my wife is. Oh, hold on, what's going on here? Because she's a little younger than me. She's 12 years younger than me. But you can't have an old husband and a young wife, and sometimes things just don't. Sometimes one is more experienced than the other. One is more. That's kind of how it works out with this football situation with Dak and Dez. Dez is a veteran player, and he wants the ball. He should be on a veteran team with a veteran coach where he can voice his opinion. You can't do that with sometimes a younger quarterback, and it's no disruption or nothing negative against Dez. I think the situation is, not Dez or Dak, nothing wrong, or I'm not saying anything negative about Dak. What I'm saying is he's learning a playbook. He's learning the plays. He's learning to play the game. He's learning the positions. It takes a while. It takes a couple years to learn that, as you guys know. And it's not a good situation to have Dez there trying to influence the play or influence audibles or influence, hey, if you look out, let's say Dak calls the play and Dez says, okay, hey, hold on. If you look out on the corner and you see I'm in man-to-man, you need to audible and get me the ball. Or, and that goes down. That happens. I think Baltimore was a better fit. Thomas, Mr. Garrett there. I hope no relation, but No, I haven't had fish-eyed fool. I've never had fish-eyed fool. Sorry, I'm gonna change the name for you. I'm gonna call you fish-eyed fool. But fish-eyed fool, I've never ever. I haven't had any trouble with internet other than I have a lot of trouble with social media because I don't know how to use it, and I don't know how to use my damn phone. And the wife is laughing again because usually I have to call her to the office to fix something. She helped me set up the microphone. She explained to me why the microphone wasn't working. That the iPad has a sensitive microphone, and the ceiling fan is too close. And I just tell her, get on out of here. That's something my dad does. Anyways, but yeah, I think he would have been good in Baltimore. I think he really would have helped them out. I think Flacco has the arm to, and Flacco puts it up there, bro. Flacco has no discretion about putting that ball up, and that's what Dez needs. Dez needs somebody that'll fly that ball out there and let Dez go get it. And I just think Dak wasn't at the time in his career that they allowed him to do that. They had restraints on him. He had restraints on himself. He was trying to be cautious. He did a very, very good job. He did an outstanding job. I think Dak did. But his job at this time it it doesn't entail him throwing the ball to a receiver like Dez as much as Dez wants it thrown to him. And he's not used to that. He went from getting the ball, 8 to 10 targets a game, or 6 to 8, 10, 9 targets a game, to getting 4 or 5 targets a game. And it does show as a drop off to Dez because I think there was a slight drop off. But I think it's kind of the two things working against each other. When is Jerry going to hand the team over to his son? I'm hoping he's kind of done that already. Of course, not in full, because what I recently heard today was that Jerry Jones has stated that Zeke and Dak will not play in Saturday's game, which I think is wrong. It makes sense in a way, but it doesn't. Because Travis Frederick not being there, and we have Connor Williams there at the guard behind him, that could be a weak spot in our line, and you don't want to get Dak hurt. I would say what you do is you play Dak and you see how it works out. And if it turns into the Atlanta game and you've got defensive linemen bum rushing that one spot where it's weak in the defensive or on the offensive line, then you pull you pull Dak out and you put Cooper Rush in there, and you hope for the best. You say, hey Cooper, go fight him off. Let's see. I think that he's going. Yeah, I agree, Garrett. I think Jerry Jones is turning the team over slowly to Stephen Smith or Stephen Jones, and I think the more that happens, I think the better. I think he needs to manage the team in a different way. 10 managers, I can tell you for sure, 10 managers is better than one guy and a dictatorship. And he cannot run a dictatorship. It's not going to work for him. They saw that in the draft. They collectively got around the table when we were looking at taking the defensive quarterback. We were looking at taking. I was really big on that. I was hoping we were going to get the guy 6'7". He plays for Denver right now, and he's not doing very well. And we skipped that in the draft. Denver took him. Paxton Lynch. When we were looking at taking Paxton Lynch in the draft, and they kind of negotiated, and it looked like Stephen Jones kind of took over there. If you watch the All or Nothing, he made sure it didn't happen. And Jerry Jones mentioned they were talking about Dak Prescott early in the draft. And they said, we can take maybe that Prescott kid will be there later. Maybe that kid from Mississippi, Prescott, will be there later. And they skipped on Paxton Lynch. They didn't try to move up. Denver took him at 25th. We selected later, and we took another player, and we waited, and in the 4th round we got Dak Prescott. So they did a good job handling that. And Jerry Jones gave up some leniency there. And when he gave up that leniency, they stepped in and took control. Uh, Fish-eyed fool. If you want to go back and watch my video, I just posted about an hour and a half ago. There's an you can jump through there. There's a part of the video where I was showing some Troy Aikman footage back when Troy Aikman, the downfall of the Cowboys, they were sliding. They were starting to slide from the Super Bowl days. Troy Aikman was on the team. Jimmy Johnson had won their Super Bowls there with him, and Jimmy Johnson had won those Super Bowls, and then Barry Switzer came in, and they won one more Super Bowl. Then the team started sliding, and that was Troy Aikman's exact response. What has happened to this team? Where has the discipline gone? He's yelling at the top of his voice, cussing at I think it's like the special teams coach or something. He pulled him to the side and he said, "I'm sick and tired of being the only guy on this team that'll say anything. I'm sick and tired of what's up, Incognito? I'm sick and tired of being the only one that'll say anything. Why is the head coach walking around here slapping guys on the ass, telling them, hey, that's okay?" And this is, Troy Aikman's last 4 seasons. Only one of his last 4 seasons were winning seasons. So he had a really tough time the last 4 years there, and that's why he got out early. He didn't see it changing. He didn't see a good future for the next 2 to 3 years, and he retired a little earlier than we wanted him to. But he stepped down because there was no management support there. Jerry Jones was running everything. He ran Jimmy Johnson out of town. He brought Barry Switzer in. Things weren't going well. Barry Switzer was walking around slapping guys on the ass, telling them it's okay. And Troy Aikman was fired up, telling them, no, it's not damn okay. No, he was saying the offensive coordinators, nobody's blocking, nobody says anything to the guys not blocking. He's getting his ass sacked every 2 plays, and he was pissed. So is Jason Garrett that same kind of guy? A little. Yeah, I think he is. I think he's one of those guys. He'll clap, which to me is the same thing as Barry Switzer did. He'd walk around, pat guys on the back when they did a bad job and say, hey, go get them next time, and you're better than that, you can do better than that. But sometimes you gotta fire a guy up by telling him, hey, you're out of here, dude. If you don't do what the hell you're supposed to do, you're not going to be here anymore. We can't tolerate mediocrity, and that's what Barry Switzer did, and I can't say that's what Jason Garrett is doing or saying. I know he would not tolerate mediocrity, but sometimes that attitude does come across that way, So let's see. People complain about Dak, but he could have exactly. You're right, and I have no complaints with Dak. I think he's good enough to. I don't think you have to have, a Tom Brady, or I don't think you have to have a super elite quarterback like that. Matter of fact, I think it's detriment to your team if he's sucking up your salary cap. If we can keep Dak, I think he's good enough. I think he's a great quarterback. I don't think he's amazing. I think he's in that top 10 to 8 category, which is good enough to win you. He's good enough to win you a Super Bowl. Especially, it's good enough to win you a Super Bowl if his salary stays fairly lucrative, warm with the salary. We've got to keep his salary, and we can't say, hey, this guy's won games and he was one of the greatest rookie quarterbacks of all time, and he got us to 13-3 his first season. Here's $150 million for 8 years and make him the highest paid quarterback, and then we have no room to pay backup linemen, defensive tackles. We have no room to pay our corners and these young guys in the secondary that are going to be needing to get paid in the next 4 or 5 years, the next 3 or 4 years. Thanks, Cognito, for throwing that up there. He opened a website for you guys to know. That way you can still get in touch with him, still watch his videos. Not sure how much it costs to open a website, but that's good he was able to do that. I'm going to jump up real quick because I missed some stuff. Brother, I think it would take Stephen Jones to... And that's my situation with Jason Garrett. I think the team is good enough right now. I think the team is good enough to keep Jason Garrett out of trouble. What's going to get Jason Garrett in trouble is the situations we've had with him before. If he cannot do clock management and he can't do team management at the end of games, and if we do like we did last year and we've already seen like we're doing this year, let me finish the statement first, then I'll explain the difference in this year and last year, because last year was regular season, this year's preseason. But last year it seems like we had a really good handle on a lot of the games in the first half, and we would come out of halftime and look completely different. And this is my wife's first and second year watching football, and she even, I think it might even help her being, just being able to watch the game and watch me be happy at halftime, and in the second half just fall apart. And that's what it seems like they've been doing lately. It seems like Jason Garrett has no ability to make, or the team. It could be the defensive coordinator, could be the offensive coordinator, but we have no ability to adjust at halftime. We make horrible adjustments, or we make no adjustments at all. And my wife notices that. And if she notices it, I don't know if she notices it from my attitude, or if she actually is watching the games, because most of the time she's on her damn phone playing. But she still is really smart in saying that, because it is true. Who would you pick to replace our head coach? Man, Sean Payton would be nice. I think he's been in New Orleans a little too long. I think it would be a good move for him. I think he's an outstanding coach. I think there's a lot of coaches out there. I think Jason Garrett is a good speaker. He talks really well, but he will not put his finger on the button and push anything. When he's asked a question, he plays around with the question. He never answers the question. Chris Richard, just for example, the other day, Jason Garrett was asked about the corners possibly being moved to safety because of the injuries and us being, thin or light at safety. And Jason Garrett kind of danced around and said, we're going to play players where we want to play them, but we need to play them at their strongest positions. But when you have injuries, sometimes you got to move guys. But so he said yes, then he said no, then he said no, then he said yes. And Jason Garrett just won't answer a question. Keith Richard came straight out and said, no, my corners are not moving to safety. And in particular, the question was about Byron Jones. And he said, no, Byron Jones is a corner. Byron Jones is a corner. And he said it like 6 times. Byron Jones is a corner. Before he moved on. And Keith Richard is a guy that he'll answer the question, because he knows, he's confident in what he's saying. And he's confident in his job as a secondary coach. If he says something and Jerry Jones goes against it, or Jason Garrett goes against it, he'll say, okay, no problem. But I said Byron Jones is a corner, and if you move him to safety and he makes a mistake or doesn't play well at safety, that's your call. And some people won't make a call on shit. And that's one thing that might save Jason Garrett's ass, is he won't decisively make a decision, Let me go back and Eric Zapata show. What is this? Why we got to get this stuff going? What is this? I don't understand what this is. After the flag, because he stands for the flag. I don't blame any of them for talking in clinch. I do understand that, Eric Zapata. Hey, thank you, brother. Appreciate the comment and joining the chat box. I guess I don't know. Maybe he's talking to somebody else. I don't know. Again, this is a nonsense termination. Oh yeah, the situation with Steamin' Willie Beeman. Nice to see you on the page, brother. Glad to see you found me. I always enjoy your comments on Jobu's Sports Report page there. Hey, you're going through troll withdrawals. That's funny. You can troll here, brother. We appreciate everybody. As I said, the Cowboys pages, we have no problem with people jumping in because we're not intimidated. Cowboy fans are not intimidated. We're not scared of other teams. We're not scared of other fans because there's some things we have that some other teams don't have. And there's only one team that has more than these that we have, and that's the Pittsburgh damn Steelers, and we're coming after them this year. And in the next, I will say in the next 4 to 5 years, we're gonna have more than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's what I got to say on that. So, hey, appreciate it, Willie B. That's cool, man. I love your comments always. You really make the chat box a fun thing. So, 1995 VHS. Yeah, brother. Hey, I will say this. Super Bowls come in windows, guys. You have a team. When your team gets good enough to make some Super Bowls, you usually have 4 or 5 years there, maybe 6 years, because your running backs and certain players that are important to the team are good enough to get you there. After that window closes, you have to replace those guys and go through the draft. It's a cycle. So your team will cycle up. You have some opportunities for Super Bowls, and your team will cycle down. If you look, we had Super Bowls in the 70s. We had Super Bowls in the 90s. We should have had Super Bowls, and it shouldn't take 20 years to cycle through that. But what I'm saying is, another thing, we won a Super Bowl 21 years ago. Only 12 teams have won a Super Bowl. Only 12 teams have won a Super Bowl since our last Super Bowl. 12 teams have won a Super Bowl. You can look it back. I've looked back at it before. That means there's another 20 teams that have not won a Super Bowl as well. So the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in 21 years. Only 12 teams have won in the last 21 years. So, yeah, it's a trend. And we're at a window now. We're young. We're one of the youngest teams in the NFL. We're one of the most promising teams. We're one of the better teams. We have a couple spots we need to solidify. I will say the situation with Travis Frederick is horrifying. To the team. More it's horrifying to his family and his situation and his friends. I hope he can get over that. That really is not a good situation. You guys all know there's not any updates on that. It's just going to take time. He needs to go through as many of these treatments as he can, but you guys have zero depth. True, Willie B. Hey, man, I hate to agree with Willie Beeman, but there's very few positions we have depth at, and it's very true. But we're young, and that's why we have no depth, because all of our players are young. I will say in 2 or 3 years we will have depth. We are one of the youngest teams in the NFL, but these young guys are going to come along. We'll be able to pick through them. Pick the guys we want, pick the guys that work with us, pick the guys that fit with the Dallas Cowboys, and when that happens, we have another draft next year. We have some chances of free agent. We have another draft the next year. So as this moves the next 2 or 3 years, we really have the chance to, we have a lot of cap room, exactly. So we have the chance. This is our window. Our window is opening now. That's why I want to get Earl Thomas in this year. We have the money. I don't understand why they haven't done it. But like I've said in the other videos, we haven't jumped out and we haven't looked at the safeties that are there. For what reason have they, if you need to go shopping, why would you walk past, why would you walk past the chips and salsa every day if you love chips and salsa, but you don't have much at home? Obviously, I think the Cowboys know the Earl Thomas thing is going to happen. That's why they didn't look at Kenny Vaccaro. They didn't look at Ed Reed. They didn't look at these other safeties, George Igawa that was just signed. They didn't look at any of these guys. They didn't make any phone calls. Why would they not do that as thin as we are at safety? I think they know Earl Thomas. They're going to do it. Earl Thomas is not playing for Seattle. The only thing that will have the Cowboys kicking themselves in the ass about this Earl Thomas thing is if Seattle gets a trade offer from another team before the end of the season, or excuse me, before the end of the preseason, and Seattle takes the offer. That's the only thing. If an AFC team offers them close to what the Cowboys will give him, they'll send him to an AFC team before they send him to the Cowboys, just so they don't have to see him again. If let's see what happened to Foles tonight. Hey, anybody want to post what happened to Foles tonight? I heard he played horrible. I was over at a neighbor's house dropping off a gift. We stopped and bought a gift for a neighbor, and yeah, we heard he played so horrible that they pulled him and they said he's not playing the second half. So not sure why. Let's see. Stephen would be. I would preserve Zeke for another year. He could easily. I think he'll be okay. Looney's a good guy. He plays well. I don't think he can't definitely take. Did Rico get hurt? Rico. VZP. What's this with did Rico get hurt? I haven't heard anything about Rico having any injuries at practice today. Today, he was supposed to get reps with the first team. So I don't think there was any injuries today at all that I know of. I just read through all the news and I only saw positive things about Rico Gathers. Gallup made a really outstanding catch in practice, so I did see that. I think the deal might be already done. I think we're waiting on for confirmation. TG, I'm gonna call you TG. Thomas Garrett, don't get me hyped like that, man. Because I said it earlier in the video. Don't know how long some of you guys have been here, but with the situation on the offensive line, our offensive line, we can bring a couple guys in for depth, but we're not going to be able to replace Travis Frederick. Hopefully, he's only out about 2 to 4 games, but it could be as much as 6. And it could actually be longer than that. I don't think it will be because they caught it early. They caught it early because he's going through so much physical work. With athletes, they catch this really early. They catch it early with athletes because it's a muscle condition, it's a nerve condition, and as an athlete, you use your muscles and you use your nerves a lot. So you catch this early. If you're someone that works in an office or you're not really active, you don't go to the gym, this disease can stay with you a long time. You'll just feel tired. You'll feel down. You'll feel groggy. And a week will go by. With Travis Frederick, he's in practice. He's battling 300-pound dudes. He's a 300-pound dude. He's fighting his butt off. So these situations with the nerves and the pinches and the weak muscles, he saw it really quick and started getting evaluated. So they caught it really early. So hopefully he'll be back. He'll be back much earlier than most people would be. And today the remedies are much better than they were, 15 years ago or even 10 years ago. What is this about a rumor? At David Short, what does the 90s have to do with 2018? Oh, I know you guys are still talking about the Super Bowl thing, but we have our window coming. Our window's coming, and when that window comes, what happens is, some people don't win. As you guys remember, the Buffalo Bills had 5 Super Bowl opportunities and did not win one. Now, still, you can't say they weren't a good team. They were an outstanding team during that period, but they did not win a Super Bowl. But they had a window of 5 opportunities to win a Super Bowl. They were there. They were there and played in 5 Super Bowls but didn't win. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. You rarely see a team and like Philadelphia this year. I don't know if we got any Philly fans in there. Who knows, but we could see Philadelphia drop off. They came out of nowhere last year. It happens rarely, but it does happen. Teams will drop off and then they don't win a Super Bowl. But I'm suspecting, and everyone else is suspecting, Philly to possibly be there and be a contention for a Super Bowl. And they should be for the next 2 or 3 years. The thing is, I think we're also in contention for some Super Bowls the next, 2 or 3 years because we're young and we're a solid team. Seems like we need those draft picks even more now. Yeah, what's up, James? Nice to see you in the page again. Hey, Roger Ash, how you doing, brother? I think they should play Dak, so Looney. Yes, sir. I just said that earlier. I think he needs to get a rhythm with the new offensive lineman. More than Dak. Also, Zeke needs to get a court. Needs to get coordinated with that new offensive line because the center changes everything. Your offensive line works from the center out. Your center controls everything. Your center decides if he's taking the defensive tackle, the nose guard on one, or if he needs help. If he needs help, you lose a guard. Basically, and most centers have trouble taking on a nose guard by themselves. That's why you see most of the time the nose guard has two offensive linemen pinned to his face mask. Chris Callens, what's up, brother? How you doing? What up, Crump, New York? Tuning in. Who, in your opinion, is winning the battle between? Oh man, that's a horse race, brother. The race between Covington and Lillard, excuse me, March Lillard is a horse race. That's neck and neck. That's gonna come down to who probably plays better on special teams, or who can cover better. Cover tight ends better. It's going to come down to something like that. And again, as you guys know, free Mark Holmes. Go over to his webpage. I'm not sure what it is. Incognito posted it earlier. Yeah, I agree. Again, Incognito, the center is the heartbeat of the offense. Is really, really important. If you guys look, if you watch, and none of us really do that very often, but sit down and watch a game and just watch the lineman. Don't watch the quarterback drop back, and you will notice most of the time that nose guard takes up a center and a guard. So he takes up two of your linemen. When your center can snap the ball, bring his head up, take the nose guard alone, that frees your guard up to take a linebacker or take the guard on that side. It opens the center of the field up. It keeps your quarterback from having the center. The center's at a disadvantage having to snap the ball because as the ball's moving, he's got to actually move backwards a little bit, set himself for a block, and then take on the defensive nose guard and try to keep him from. And that's why you'll notice most of the time a center needs help doing that. A center can't take on the nose guard by himself usually. And Travis Frederick has always been able to do that by himself. Cardinals, Buccaneers, Bears, Redskins are the only teams that don't have a lot in the NFC this year. That's how good the conference is. Crazy. Yeah, and my salute to the Pats, the Patriots. That to me, that's why they have an easy route to the Super Bowl. Not just to the Super Bowl, but through the season. It keeps them. Rams will miss the playoffs this year. Man, that's a tough statement, bro. They brought in some depth there at the Rams. They made some good moves, especially on the defense, bringing in Ndamukong Suh. And I don't recall, but I was watching earlier today a video, and they brought in some depth, especially at defense, on the defensive side. Let me see. Go back through here. Incognito, I know them. I told you they get under the cap by losing Foles. You think they're gonna? Yes, that's a tough situation to be in. I agree with you, Steaming Willie Beeman. It's going to be tough to pay two quarterbacks. I wouldn't say elite quarterback. I almost say elite quarterbacks, but it's going to be tough to pay two starting quarterbacks. So that's a situation they're going to have to deal with, and it does cause a problem. Seattle, I can tell you, Seattle needs a backup quarterback. I think Foles deserves to start, but the Cleveland Browns did make him look pretty sad tonight. I think Cleveland is a lot tougher than they on paper. They're sick. You look at Cleveland's roster on paper, and it's all first round draft picks. They've had so many first round draft picks, recently. It's just it's crazy. Mainly, I see Vikings, Saints, Rams, Eagles, Jaguars, and maybe Steelers and maybe Falcons. But those teams could make a run. Yeah, it's a lot of teams. So we'll see. we'll see where that goes. I think the Cowboys are in there. We've got to make a couple things. Looney's got to play good. We've got to get Travis Frederick back. But like I said, the main thing is get him back in his house. Make sure he as a husband and a father, he's up there and got it together. Uh, I, I saw that. I haven't seen Danko. What's up, brother? How you doing? I know there's talk. I think Dak wants to go. Excuse me, Dez wants to go to the Patriots more than the Patriots want him. I think that's why he didn't sign anything with the Browns. He did post on Instagram today that he has a contract offer on his phone from the Browns. Uh, excuse me, still, and he just has not moved on it. He's waiting. I don't know what he's waiting on, but they're still talking. The Browns and Dez Bryant are still talking as per what he says. Dez Bryant says the Browns and him are still discussing things. But I think he's holding out. I think he wants to go to the Patriots. I think he would fit in good there. Um, Now, he may get there, sign a contract. He may piss some people off and leave 6 games into the season. I doubt that would happen, but I think he would go there, be pretty quiet, fit in, uh, and do the best he could and try to prove himself on the field because of the situation he had with Dallas and the situations he's had with low offers. He may go there and be a humble player and just try to play hard. I know Dez can play ball. He still can play ball. It's just he did not fit in with the Cowboys offense and what we need at this point. Why can't we win as much as the Patriots? Is it the players or the coaching or both? I think previously it was the coaching, or excuse me, the players. I think right now we've got the players. For the most part, we've got the players to go somewhere. Incognito, I've looked into. Hold on, I got jumped. Still, man, it's going too quick for me to read. I also, a lot of things went y'all's way the last year. Willie Beeman, he's not that much of a genius. I agree. Also, how much money did Mark Holmes lose today by shutting him down? I don't know that he lost any money. I'm not sure how that works. I have no clue. I know that I've been watching his page. I watch every video and every live stream, and I don't see him getting any super chats or asking. He's not asking for any super chats or anything. The only time he asks for super chats and asks for donations is when he is got something planned. Like when we were planning on going to the draft, he did push that a little, but I've never seen him really like ask for money. He will do donations and he will do drawings and things. And I know he has had trouble getting those out the door, but that's just due to being busy. And the dude runs around 100 miles an hour. I can guarantee you that. I know he does because I keep in touch with him. And he tries to keep in touch with me, but he barely has time to send messages. So, what is her name? Incognito. I'm not into saying. I just trying to read some of these guys. If the Patriots will sign players like Moss and Johnson, they for sure sign Dez. I agree, guys. It's most of the same management and staff there, Denko, that signed Moss and Johnson. So yeah, I forgot. Wow, I forgot Chad Johnson was there. Ocho Cinco. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. Coming back up, it's not a large amount of money. Yeah. Mark wasn't making money on YouTube, man. I've been around him when we were at the draft. The dude spent so much damn money there at the draft; it was ridiculous. And I know he's not getting that kind of money from YouTube. He has stuff in the office there. He does his man cave and all those things. But dude, he spends hundreds of dollars just getting in those events to get signatures, and then you got to pay for the signatures once you get them. And then most of those things he's sending out, and he has them framed, he has them boxed, he has them ready to go. He just hasn't sent them, and it's because he's busy. Maybe he needs to slow down a little bit and take care of those things. But it is something that's important to him, and I hope no one out there thinks Mark is doing anything, on the side or pocketing money, because the dude's not pocketing money. I can guarantee you that. I think it's a Vikings versus Eagles rematch. No, bro. I hope not. Jesus, shit. I hope we don't have a Vikings-Eagles rematch, but all right, guys, it's getting pretty late here. Time to shut down the office and get ready for tomorrow. But yeah, we don't want a Vikings-Eagles rematch. It's time to close the office up. The wife is shutting down business for the day. So I really appreciate you guys for joining. Hey, please subscribe to the channel and hit those like buttons. Those like buttons, I'm going to start doing videos versus all this live stream. I do like doing the live stream so we can chat. But it's the videos I can edit and cut and add footage, and I was able to do that in Afghanistan a little easier because I had the TV there. And when I use the TV here, I've got to move everything to the living room, which takes about an hour. So doing the live chats I like doing. Free Mark Holmes, free Jobu, and you guys keep supporting him, man. Don't think he got shut down. I can promise you this: he did not get shut down for taking money from anyone or doing anything he's not supposed to be doing. It's an administrative shutdown on him because of something that he has on his page, and they'll inform him and he'll get it taken care of. But peace, love, and chicken grease, like my homeboy says, Michael Fitness. You guys check him out over on Michael Anthony Fitness's page. That's where he's at, I think. Or shoot Michael Anthony messages. And you guys have a nice evening. And like I said, please subscribe to the channel and like the videos. That shoots me up on the search engine. Also, the bell, if you guys can click on the bell, that will get you notified when I post a video or I do go live, and that way you guys can jump in versus having to go back and watch the video from the beginning and miss something that was said earlier. So, hey, best of wishes to Travis Frederick, him and his family, his children and his wife, and all of those things. Hopefully he can get better. I think he's back at home now and he's going in for treatments. Hopefully he can get better and become a father and a husband again, and then we'll give him some time to get healthy and he can get back on the Cowboys, start coming to practice. But he's going to have to be 100%. Football players can't return at 95%. It would be difficult, and he would possibly go into like a relapse. You don't want to have a relapse or go back into that situation. So take care, guys. Hey, I appreciate it. Donco, VZP, yeah, as Law says, salute. James, Steamin' Willie Beeman, I'm glad you found the page, bro. Always good to hear from you on all the pages, and I know you support football. You might not support the Cowboys, but you support football, brother. Peace out, guys. Thanks.